sports. It's in the game.
Hello and welcome from Albert Park, Australia for today's race, and I think it's shaping up to be a classic. We go racing today then in the state of Victoria, where the drivers have 16 corners and 3.3 miles to navigate at an average lap speed of around 120 miles an hour. The close proximity of the barriers makes accidents inevitable, and recent history shows us that a safety car is not at all out of the question. Anthony Davidson is with me once again to take you through today's action, and we have plenty of twists and turns to come over the next hour or so, I'm sure. Why don't we kick off by discussing Max Verstappen?
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? And of course, it's looking very close here today. A lot's going to be riding on those first few corners, and then the question becomes who can manage their tyres so they're in a better position to push hard towards the end.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Hamilton, Carlos Sainz and Ricciardo, Gasly, Norris, Leclerc and Esteban Ocon, Vettel, Stroll, Fernando Alonso and Tsunoda, Latifi, Russell, Kimi Raikkonen and Nikita Mazepin, Giovinazzi and Mick Schumacher. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Carlos is in for his stop. We're sat in 6th. Gasly is ahead of you. Less than a second separate you. They're on fresh softs. Norris behind. Our gap behind is 2.0 seconds. They're on fresh softs. The gap to the leader is 4.4 seconds. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. 2 laps left. Next time by will be your final lap. We can now use DRS. DRS now available. This is your final lap of the race. Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Another superb Australian Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win. Max Verstappen's excellent result today sees him take over as leader of the Drivers' Championship. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Well, my driver of the day has to be Charles Leclerc. He was unstoppable out on the track today, weaving through the competition with ease.
Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one. Welcome to Sao Paulo, which has been host to Formula One races since 1973. Sit back and relax for what's going to be a fantastic Brazilian Grand Prix. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil. It's a 2.7-mile circuit with 9 lefts and 6 rights for a total of 15 corners. But it's a wet one today, so grip and visibility will be at a premium, and the drivers will need to be careful coming up the hill in Sector 3, the scene of many an accident over the years. It's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today, although with the sky falling as it is, perhaps sailing isn't too far from the truth. Anthony Davidson, could be a wet one today. Great to have you with us. What are your thoughts?
It is a touch damp, isn't it? Well, as a driver, there are 3 big things to worry about when racing in these kind of conditions: standing water, tyre temperature and visibility. And judging distance to the cars around you is really tricky when you're driving through the vast amounts of spray that these wet weather Pirelli tyres kick up.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Verstappen, Yuki Tsunoda, and Fernando Alonso. Leclerc, Norris, Ricciardo, and Pierre Gasly. Sainz, Vettel, Lance Stroll, and Ocon. Latifi, Mazepin, George Russell, and Mick Schumacher. Giovinazzi and Kimi Raikkonen finishes off the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down. Easy. We don't want to see you take each other out. Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race. Fantastic drive, just fantastic. You deserved that race win.
Another superb Brazilian Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Rain always has the potential to liven up a race and mix up the order, and they've taken full advantage of that to claim the victory today. It's always a bit of a lottery when the conditions are like this, but they've managed to stay on circuit and have come out on top.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. Lewis Hamilton takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after an excellent result. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Often my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an especially impressive feat during the race. However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Max Verstappen's solid, clean driving throughout the event.
Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.